the undefeated and high-scoring Saints show into Miami this afternoon, taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Saints are undefeated, and the Dolphins are trying to make it 3 straight victories. A big interconference battle, the NFL on Fox here in South Florida. And welcome, everybody. Dick Stockton along with Charles Davis. And the Saints, without question, are the talk of the league, and why not? They are undefeated. They have the biggest margin of victory. They have averaged 38 points a game and have never trailed this season. And so, Charles, if the Dolphins have any chance in this game, they have to come up with an answer against that attack.
And it is a huge challenge for Tony Sparano's defense. And since they've chosen to accept that challenge, Dick, I'm eager to see what approach they're going to take to try and slow down Drew Brees in this New Orleans points machine. The Dolphins' defensive secondary is very young. They've been prone to giving up big plays. And thus far this season, no one's been able to slow down New Orleans.
Speaking of coming up with answers, I think that the Saints may have a little bit of a challenge going against the vaunted Wildcat attack, which has taken this team by storm. And the unorthodox Wildcat has really been behind the power running attack of the Dolphins.
And this Saints defense has made it a point of pride in trying to defend this Wildcat defense. Greg Williams, the new defensive coordinator, and his unit, they spent a lot of time scheming against a part of the Dolphins offense that averages about 10 plays per game on average. But if they're able to slow down Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams, then the rest of the league will soon be calling for a copy of this game tape.
There they are, Ricky Williams, the former Saint, and Ronnie Brown. And the weather here, 85 degrees, and if you know anything about South Florida, you know there is always a chance of thunderstorms, regardless of the fact that we have virtually perfect blue skies. So we're set to go. The Saints will get the ball first, and Dan Carpenter will kick off for Miami, and Courtney Roby will be back deep for the Saints. And the game is underway, and it is a short kick, and Roby will field it on the floor. And Roby is knocked out of bounds. And we get underway. So Drew Brees, who's about as hot as you can be as the quarterback in the National Football League, 13 touchdown passes already, and has only thrown 2 interceptions. And the Saints offense, the offensive line, has protected Brees superbly and have paved the way for a very solid running game as well, Charles.
Yeah, and he has a lot of targets. 7 different Saints scored touchdowns against the New York Giants.
First down on the 27. Brees with time, and his pass is caught by Marcus Colston, who has a first down beyond the 40-yard line, and a gain of 14 yards with the strong safety Jabril Wilson on the play. Let's take a look now at the Dolphins defense. And you talked about the big test they faced today. They play the 3-4, and they're going to need Joey Porter and Jason Taylor, the outside backers, really to put pressure on.
And there's also a great deal of focus on the secondary. Veteran Will Allen is guiding a young secondary led by rookie Sean Smith.
First down, and a play action, and there was Porter with a rush, and Colston drops the ball. He was open, and that will bring up second down and 10. So Joey Porter, who's been bothered with a hamstring pull, was inactive in week 4, finding his way almost untouched to Brees.
And they're going to need a lot of that from him and from Jason Taylor, the other outside linebacker. They need to win the one-on-one battles in blocking and get to Drew Brees and put pressure on him.
Second and 10, and another fake handoff to Bush, and they flip this one to David Thomas, the second tight end, and a big defensive play by Jeremiah Bell, the strong safety. And we welcome those of you who are watching the Vikings and the Steelers in their game earlier on Fox. The Steelers victorious 27-17. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, Jamie Maggio on the field. And just the start of things between the Saints and the Dolphins. Sean Payton, in his 4th year as head coach, Tony Sparano and Payton were colleagues at Dallas under Bill Parcells, who's now the head of football operations here in Miami. 3rd and 11. Flag is down, and they're going to blow the play dead. Pass is caught, but it's no play. And the penalty.
False start.
False start.
Number 78. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
John Parry and his officiating crew, so we'll replay third down.
Right there, John Stinchcomb, the right tackle. He gives just a little bit of a twitch, and Jason Taylor sees it and goes on the motion and draws the penalty.
Third down and 16. That's how you get to be 5-0. You lead the league in points, and you have the leading turnover differential. +9 for New Orleans. Third down and 16, and the pass thrown underneath to Pierre Thomas. And Thomas will run it out short of the first down by 2.5 yards. And it was Tyrone Culver, the nickel back, who was there to make the big stop. Otherwise, the Saints would have moved the chains.
That was a really good catch by the running back on that play, to be able to catch the football thrown to him in a short space with a lot of his pace on it.
Devon Bess is back deep. And a timeout is called by the Dolphins. No punter had come out.
They had lined up in a trick formation, Dick, and the Dolphins didn't have an answer for it and called timeout to make sure they didn't get caught.
Charles, very alert calling a timeout. People always say, well, you have to spend one. Well, in the first half, it doesn't matter as much, obviously, as the second.
Take a look. What do you notice here? Nope. Everyone else is out there. No punter. The Dolphins trying to match up, trying to figure out what's going on. Remember, it's 4th and short. So if you're the Dolphins now, you're probably going to leave your defense on the field and do what they call punt safe. Make sure the ball is punted. All you want is possession of the football and not let them fake it and get a first down. The Jets faked 2 against the Dolphins earlier this year.
Rookie Thomas Morstead punting to Devon Bess. Fields it at the 16. Starts out with some running room. The Saints have not been that strong in coverage on kicks, and a return of 14 yards after the 35-yard punt. We'll see Miami with the ball.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on.
The New Orleans Saints, for the first time this year, did not score on their opening drive, and now let's see what the Dolphins do starting from the 30. 2 tight end formation to start the game, and the pass is caught by Ted Ginn Jr. and a gain of about 5 yards. And Chad Henne in his 3rd start, good numbers, and led the game-winning drive against the Jets 2 weeks ago without making a mistake. This is his team without question. The Dolphins offensive line powering that Wildcat and leading the #1 rushing attack in the league.
And Ronnie Brown can run and throw out the Wildcat, and we just saw wide receiver Ted Ginn catch the first pass of the game. He's been gaining in confidence with each week.
2nd down and 4, and the handoff to Ronnie Brown. And Brown is stopped after a pickup of a yard by Roman Harper. The Saints strong safety, and taking a look at New Orleans, they are strong against the run. Troy Evans in his 8th year makes his first start for Scott Fajita at linebacker.
And in the secondary, safety Darren Sharper has been tremendous in the early going. He's been pivotal in the Saints defensive turnaround.
He has 5 interceptions already. 3rd down and 4. All the Dolphin receivers line up to the right, and Henne going that way and making the catch and holding on to Devon Bess. A great throw, but Devon Bess making a huge catch and a Miami first down after the gain of 8.
Devon Bess coming from the sideline inside and then going back outside and working in the secondary. It's a nice little matchup against Randall Gay, their nickelback, and makes a tremendous catch to move the chains for the Dolphins.
New Orleans is challenging the previous play of a completed pass versus
already a challenge.
We'll review the play.
So the Saints are challenging, and of course the question is, did Devon Bess have both feet in? Did he have control of the ball? We'll find out. Let's see the end of that challenge. Was it a completed pass?
There's ball coming free. See, as he's going down, watch. There's the football going to the ground.
Now, Sean Payton, the Saints coach, was right there. He immediately, no
look at
kidding.
this. Here's the head coach. Who's got the best view right here? He didn't need help from upstairs because he's all over the play. He thinks there's no catch. And see, the ball is actually hitting the ground there too. So I think the Saints are going to win this challenge. Ball right out there.
Best trying to cover up, and there you see Sean Payton to the right indicating no, it's incomplete.
How often do you hear from coaches that sometimes the sideline?
But you figure he's going to signal that anyway.
Has a malfunction, therefore we did not review the play. The play will stand as called. Fourth down on the right
that's the first time I have heard that because
with the timeout
of a malfunction, the play will stand.
So in that case, that's first down Miami.
And as you know, it would have had to have been indisputable visual evidence anyway to overturn the completed pass.
And as I was saying, Dick, how often do you hear coaches say sometimes the sideline is the worst possible view for a play? In this case, it was the best possible view for Sean Payton. He saw it clearly, but because the machine was not working, he's going to lose a challenge.
And also, you have to also put in the caveat that, of course, he's going to rule for the Saints.
Of course
he's not going to say, yes, he caught the ball, but now he is arguing with John Parry, or not arguing really, but trying to get the explanation. What can you do? It was a malfunction.
He's trying to get the machine fixed. Unfortunately, you can't fix it from there.
So as you point out, Charles, it will be a first down for the Dolphins. And they'll mark the ball at the 44. So Devon Best making the catch and doing a good job of saying he made the catch.
You got to sell it on both sides.
And right now, Chad Henne is on the field and lined up to the right. So this is the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown getting the snap. Henne lined up to the top of your picture. On the first down. And the no handoff, the direct snap run by Ronnie Brown, and he gets about 4 yards on the play. We'll mark it at the 49, maybe 5.
Most Wildcat plays start with some type of misdirection fake. This is just pure sweep. Look at that. Following the running back, there's Justin Smiley, the offensive guard, following his blocking back, Lusaka Polite, number 38, number 36, and Brown picks up good yardage.
And once again, Chad Henne is split out to the top. It'll be second down and 5, just shy of midfield. And here is Ronnie Brown, and Brown is going to try to find running room up the middle, and he'll be short of a first down by a couple of yards as Remy Adele, the brother of Aiken Adele, who's playing for the Dolphins, makes the stop, and it'll be third down and about 1. This is what the Wildcat has achieved, as you point out at the outset, just about 10 plays a game, but it's proved to be a great asset for the Dolphins.
Yeah, with a high of 16 plays in their last victory against the Jets. Pivotal in that win, too.
Third down and 1. Now Henne back to the conventional offense. And it's Lusaka Polite, the fullback, busting his way to a first down at the 45.
Interesting to me, Dick, is that they get the first down on 3rd and short out of their conventional quarterback under center. But if you go back to the first 2 Wildcat plays, even though there was no quarterback, what they ran essentially was a toss sweep on the first play. And the second play, they ran an isolation. Just they took the quarterback out as the middleman and snapped it right back to the running back who's going to carry it.
And you know, Charles, the Dolphins really haven't run the Wildcat with the quarterback on the field. So we're seeing a new wrinkle today. First down. Best goes in motion. Ricky Williams is the tailback, and play fake to Ricky Williams, and Henne will go to Williams out of the backfield, who is ridden out of bounds by Scott Shanley after a gain of 5. Ricky Williams had played 3 years with the Saints, but said no emotional attachment because none of the players I played with are with the Saints any longer.
Nor the people who drafted him, people who coached him. It's a whole different organization.
There you see in his first 5 years, 3rd most rushing yards in the NFL. Was out of football, and the Dolphins have welcomed him back.
Well, the last 6 years, essentially 2 years lost for him, not with the same opportunities.
Second down and 5. Here's Ronnie Brown on the fake and the pass, and unable to get it to Ted Ginn Jr., who's claiming he was pushed and defended downfield well by Darren Sharper.
Ted Ginn was looking for a penalty flag. Ginn, number 19, watch, he's going to run straight upfield and then go towards the flag, towards the pylon. And their feet get tripped up a little bit, and a really nice job by the official of not pulling the flag. His feet got tangled up, inadvertent, there was no interference, and a nice no call.
And Jabari Greer doing a good job of staying with him. So once again, in a formation out of the shotgun, it is 3rd down and 5. Pass rush on Henne, and his pass is ruled complete, and now incomplete, says the officials, and they waited. It was down the middle to the 25-yard line.
This would have been the second great catch for Devon Bess, and frankly, I think he's 0 for 2, but he got the benefit of the doubt on the first one because the replay machine was broken. This time the officials are right on it. Ball hits the ground as he tries to secure the catch. A good job there by the officials. That time it was the umpire, Dan Farrell, who saw it from inside, who went down and said, no, ball hit the ground.
And the Saints with a terrific pass rush, and there is Lance Moore going back to return the punt by Brandon Fields. And a delay of the game penalty called against Miami.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. That penalty's been declined. 4th down.
And the reason you decline it, because you take away the margin for your punter. All right, when it's shorter in, that's a tougher punt trying to pin it deep as opposed to getting the 5 yards. Miami wanted the 5-yard penalty. New Orleans smartly declined it.
And a short kick. And Moore calling for the fair catch on the 5-yard line. First time that Lance Moore has gone back in the punt returner. No score. Saints ball when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Lowe's. For all your home improvement needs, Lowe's. Let's build something together. By Ford. Drive one. And by McDonald's.
And welcome back to Landshark Stadium in Miami. Each team has had the ball once. And by the way, the Saints were not charged with a timeout on that challenge. Kind of a compromise because of the malfunction of the replay mechanism. First down on the 7-yard line for New Orleans.
Ball start. Number 74. Offense, half the distance.
Jermon Bushrod, the
down.
left tackle, and that'll be half the distance. Still first down.
Notice Miami's defensive front did a lot of moving and shifting, trying to confuse blocking assignments for New Orleans. Actually took Jason Taylor from one side of the formation to the other to try and get him a free rush with Drew Brees.
One thing that the Dolphins know about Drew Brees is that when he is in rhythm, like any outstanding quarterback, there is no way you can stop him. So you've got to come up with a reason for him to be a little hesitant. Thomas went in motion, 1st and 13. And another penalty flag. And another delay of the game. So 2 straight delay of games against the Saints. Now the ball is on the 2. You don't often see 1st and 14. And in the end zone, Drew Brees' pass incomplete. Trying to get it to David Thomas, the tight end. And Jabril Wilson forcing the play. So now 2nd down and 14. And as you mentioned, Charles, an opportunity here for the Dolphin defense.
And take a look at how the Dolphins try and capitalize on 1st and 14. They bring Jason Taylor off the edge, and he uses that great frame of his to tip the pass away and eliminates any possibility of interference against Jabril Wilson. Tip ball knocks that off.
Crowd a factor here. And the handoff to Heath Evans, the fullback, and he brings it out to the 4. And for a game break, let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
And here's how you start. Atlanta at Dallas. Matt Ryan to Roddy White. 4 yards on the score. Capped off a 16-play, 80-yard game-opening drive. And it's 7-0 Atlanta after one possession. Dick and Charles?
Atlanta leading Dallas 7-0.
And Matt Ryan to Roddy White.
3rd down and 13. And Drew Brees passing, and it's intercepted. Tyrone Culver diving in. And he did not get in. He was knocked out of bounds before he got into the end zone at about the 1. No Saint receiver was in sight. And they will mark the ball at the 1-yard line. But Tyrone Culver, who made an earlier big play, now with the interception.
Right there.
On the 5.
That's where he stepped out before he could launch himself for what would have been a touchdown. He was clearly in the end zone, but he did step out on the 5. But Dick, the Dolphins coming off of a bye week, all right? 2 weeks to prepare. They're showing a lot of looks. Look at Jason Taylor pushing the pocket at Drew Brees. It almost gets there, and Brees throws a rare interception.
So we have seen, as you see, Culver bring it back. And Saints on their heels here. Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams are in the Wildcat. And here is Ricky Williams running inside, walks in for the touchdown. Whether there's any emotion or not for Ricky Williams to score a touchdown, Charles, against the New Orleans Saints has to be huge for him.
Without a doubt, and to give his team an early lead. And how often in the Wildcat have we really seen Ricky Williams back as the point guy taking the direct snap? 2 weeks of preparation, we're seeing a number of different wrinkles early from the Miami Dolphins.
Dan Carpenter adds the extra point, and so the interception by Tyrone Culver sparks the Wildcat. And the first score of the game, the Dolphins lead the Saints 7-0. Dolphins lead it 7-0, and Tyrone Culver in his 4th year from Fresno State with his 2nd career interception. And as a result, for the first time this year, the Saints trail. That's 5 games and then 7 minutes and 40 seconds of this one. So something different for the undefeated Saints. They're behind 7-0 as Carpenter kicking off to Roby. Good kick into the end zone. Run out from 3 yards. Roby with a great return and goes right by the kicker and may go all the way. Roby gets tripped up. And they're going to mark it at about the 15-yard line. And it was Vontae Davis, the #1 draft pick from Illinois, who tripped up Roby enough so that he lost his footing. And he's marked down at the 16-yard line after a kickoff return of 87 yards and a penalty flag as well.
After the play, delay a game. Number 15 for spiking the ball. 5-yard penalty. First down, New Orleans.
So a spiking of the ball by Roby, and that's going to cost the Saints 5 yards, and they'll mark it at the 21.
Ends up hurting a huge play a little bit, but I think they'll give him somewhat of a pass because of the great kick return. Great field position on the Dolphins 21 for Drew Brees to attack right away.
So in a hurry, the Saints with a chance to get back even. And a first down, and the screen pass to Heath Evans, and the fullback is hit immediately, and a big defensive play by the nose tackle Jason Ferguson.
What a way for Jason Ferguson to get started. Watched him at practice on Friday, and Coach Bill Parcells kept hiking up his pants toward Jason. I said, what are you doing, Coach? He said, I'm asking him if he's going to be wearing his big boy pants on Sunday. Is a big boy going to come ready to play? Jason knew exactly what he meant without having heard a word.
He was a big boy there with a loss of 5 as Joey Porter comes off the field. Second down and 15. Back at the 26, and here is Reggie Bush with his first carry of the game and doesn't get much there. And it was Ferguson again, the nose tackle, who was with Bill Parcells for 3 years with the Jets and then 2 years with Dallas. And the defensive coordinator for Miami is Paul Pasqualoni, who also came from Dallas to join Parcells in the game.
The former head coach at Syracuse, and what Miami's doing early, Dick, is using a lot of movement, a lot of different personnel groupings on defense, and they're quicker to the point of attack right now than New Orleans.
Ferguson goes out, and Joey Porter has come back in. Third and long. And Brees goes down. Randy Starks coming up and sacking Drew Brees at the 29-yard line. So after the 5-yard loss earlier on the last play, 5 more here.
Watch the interior here, okay? Because the Dolphins talked about having to win one-on-one battles against the blocking of New Orleans. The offensive line to date had only given up 4 sacks of Drew Brees, 5 total for the year. They said if we win these one-on-one battles, we've got an opportunity.
So John Carney now attempting a 46-yard field goal on 4th down. And John Carney kick is good, and the Saints get 3 out of an impressive 87-yard kickoff return. They were looking for more. So in the first quarter, 5:06 left, it's 7-3.
Sometimes the difference is the hustle plays. Vontae Davis in the circle, number 21. He's helping on the kickoff. Watch what happens after he gets blocked. Now it becomes what? A hustle play. And Vontae Davis hustles and catches just enough of Courtney Roby to bring him down. And because he does so, he helps keep the Saints from possible 6 points, and they only give up 3.
And here's Morstead kicking off, and Ted Ginn Jr. with Patrick Hobbs hurt. Ted Ginn Jr. again is the kick returner. Puts on the speed down the sidelines, and a fine return as it gets it past the 35-yard line. Troy Evans making the stop. Well, the NFL on Fox next week presents a doubleheader. Game 1, the Giants go against the Eagles. The 49ers go against the Colts and Indy. The Seahawks at the Cowboys. And in Game 2, how about this one? The Vikings at the Packers. Yes, Brett Favre going back to Green Bay. The Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
I know he said it's already been done since they played once, but it hasn't been done until he goes back to Green Bay.
False start penalty marked off against the Dolphins, so both teams guilty.
False start, number 64, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Dick, this is supposed to be the time of year where things smooth out for teams. You don't have these types of sloppy penalties, but I think this game is really emotional. Miami coming off of a bye week and a big win against the Jets has a chance to get back into the race in the AFC East, and the Saints, of course, want to protect their undefeated season.
Jake Grove guilty of the penalty, and the pitch to Ricky Williams drives upfield. Ricky Williams breaks it. Ricky Williams is not going to be caught. Touchdown Dolphins. And how about the block Lusaka Polite put on to free Ricky Williams, who has scored his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Wildcat or conventional, Miami in the running game is quite good.
13-3, and Diane Carpenter is on to add the 14th point for the Dolphins. And the kick is good. Ricky Williams with a 68-yard run for the touchdown. A stunning start to this game in Miami. first quarter for Ricky Williams. Not only is he going over 5,000 yards rushing in a Dolphin uniform, but a 68-yard touchdown, the longest rush of his career.
Watch what we're going to get. Watch the tight end set the table, all right? That's Fasano, all right? Now watch Justin Smiley pull here. Jake Grove is going to get a block here, and watch the fullback there, Polite. Look at that block there. So now we've got a path, and as a bonus, Camarillo, 83, takes out Darren Sharper, the safety, and Ricky Williams goes right through the gap. Tracy Porter, number 22, unable to react.
4 touchdowns on the year, and Carpenter kicks this one out of the end zone. And the Saints will take over at the 20 as we send it out to the third member of our team, Jamie Maggio.
All right, Dick, thank you. Yeah, Ricky is having quite the first half here. I've had a chance to speak to him before the game, and I said, what's been the biggest difference between your time with the Saints and your time with the Dolphins? He said while he was in New Orleans, he was younger, the team wasn't that good, and now that he's with the Dolphins, he's having a real good time. Back up to you.
Even a better time now, Jamie, without question. As
the good times won't stop now, will they?
First down at the 20. Saints are trailing 14-3. Have never trailed in any game until today.
Look at the movement by the Dolphins defense.
Pierre Thomas gets slowed up and finally tackled. He's a hard runner, Thomas, as he gets close to 5 yards, and it was Kendall Langford who finally wrapped him up.
People forget that Pierre Thomas is the reason that Rashard Mendenhall, later a first-round choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they're starting running back, did not start for a long time at Illinois. Pierre Thomas was ahead of him, and he couldn't beat him out, and there was a reason. He's a quality back.
So Pierre Thomas in his first 4 games, compared to a year ago, night and day. Reggie Bush comes in, and now he is lined up, split to the left on 2nd and 5. Brees getting out of danger in his pass, unable to make the play as Sean Smith, the rookie from Utah, battles Reggie Bush all the way, and the pass incomplete, bringing up 3rd down.
And what helped him was watch the pressure from number 52, Channing Crowder. He makes Drew Brees step out of the pocket and reset and try and deliver the ball. It's a little high, and Sean Smith does a great job playing through his hands and knocking it away.
And a lot of excitement for the Dolphins on both sides of the ball. 3rd and 5 coming up. Cameron Wake has gone in for Jason Taylor. Here comes the pressure by Wake, and the pass batted down. And it looked like Tony McDaniel got a hand on it. And right now, the Miami Dolphins have taken the play away totally from the New Orleans Saints. 4th down.
Cameron Wake is a pass rushing specialist. Had almost 40 sacks in 2 seasons in the Canadian Football League. He forces Drew Brees to step up. And then Tony McDaniel, a 6'7" defensive tackle, gets a big paw in the air and knocks it away.
So 4th down in Morstead. His first punt went only 35 yards. Kicking to Devon Bess. Good hang time. And Bess at the 26. Over 5 seconds, and that's a good hang time. And Bess brings it out close to the 40-yard line. Well, let's take a look at some of the headliners of our early games on Fox. Aaron Rodgers with a big game, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Wes Welker for the Patriots in London had 10 catches for 107 yards. And Vernon Davis of San Francisco, 7 catches for 93 yards. And tonight on Fox, we want to remind you the OT presented by Lowe's. And following that, Game 6 of the ALCS between the Angels and the Yankees after the game was postponed yesterday. Ronnie Brown getting the direct snap here. And a good run on first down for Ronnie Brown. Vilma comes up to make the play after a gain of about 7.
Take a look. This is Chad Henne, the quarterback, all right? Watch what they do to keep him out of harm's way when running the Wildcat. He's not a threat to run a pass pattern. He's not a threat to go block anyone. Just step back off of the line, and now he's out of the play, and now he's come to the sidelines as they continue to run the Wildcat in a different manner.
Brown and Williams, and it's Ronnie Brown. And Ricky Williams goes in motion, and they hand off to Ricky Williams. And Williams, maybe a yard, that's all. And it was Remy Adele, the defensive tackle, who's playing in place of Kendrick Clancy, who is on injured reserve.
You know, if you're having trouble grasping the Wildcat, which I think more people are having less trouble, just put yourself and say conventionally, what's this play? You know what it is? Quarterback under center, fly sweep. Guy in motion, you just turn and hand it to him, and you got the same play essentially.
Going with the same Wildcat on 3rd down and 2. Williams in motion, doesn't get the handoff this time, and Ronnie Brown powers his way to a 1st down into Saint territory, and that's where the offensive line comes into play for Miami.
The offensive line not getting nearly enough credit in what they're doing. Remember, the Wildcat is not a finesse offense. This is a power running scheme, whether they're running it out of their regular formations or the Wildcat. This is an offensive line that wants to slide up, helmet to helmet, and move people off the line of scrimmage. And they've done a nice job of doing that today.
6 plays, 26 yards, and a touchdown so far for the Dolphins in their Wildcat. A 1st down at the 49. And the handoff to Ronnie Brown. Shakes a tackler and is upended by Darren Sharper. And he is tackled at about the 45-yard line. Give him a 4-yard pickup for Ronnie Brown.
Take a look. This is Roman Harper, safety for the Saints. He's trying to get involved. He ends up running upfield just a little bit too far and creates the running lane for Ronnie Brown. So who has to make the play? The other safety, Darren Sharper. Both of these guys will have to be heavily involved in run action all game long, which means the Dolphins are counting on eventually play action, big play over the top.
And of course the story was if the Dolphins were down by a couple of touchdowns, it would be hard for them to run the ball, but they're up by 11. 2nd down and 6, and on the end around, Ted Ginn Jr. And goes out of bounds, very close to the 1st down, and chased there by the defensive end, Will Smith, showing good speed. Gain of 5.
Wonderful job by Will Smith, the defensive end, not pursuing too far down the line of scrimmage. Watch Smith. Instead of going here, he waits and sees it. This is what they call being a BCR player. You got to look for the boot, the counter, or the reverse if you're on the backside of a play. That's exactly what Will Smith did. Made Ginn bounce it too far, didn't get a big play out of it.
That's not like DVR.
No,
okay.
BCR.
Okay.
All right?
3rd down and 1.
And you can't buy it at Radio Shack, okay?
Nearly a half a minute remaining in the 1st quarter, and the Dolphins call a timeout. That is the 2nd timeout called by Miami. And what an interesting start to this game, because it looks like right now, and it's still in the waning stages of the 1st quarter, that the Dolphins have unnerved Drew Brees and the offense, and the Saints have not solved the Wildcat.
I really think the 2 weeks that Tony Sparano, Todd Bowles, as defensive coordinator, had in getting prepared for this have served them well. Most teams take a lot of time during the 1st week and just get healthy and kind of run through their stuff. The Dolphins, before they let the guys go last Friday, they started working on New Orleans early, and they put that in, a lot of movement on defense, a few extra defensive packages, and some things that maybe Drew Brees has not seen from them so far this year.
And don't forget, the Saints had 2 weeks to get ready for the Giants, who they demolished. 34 seconds left, and the handoff to Polite. And he'll have the 1st down to the 37-yard line. So Polite getting the job done as a runner and a blocker. And this is choreographed just perfectly for Tony Sparano. And that may be the last play of the 1st quarter. Drew Brees sitting on the Saints bench in a day in which the temperature is exceeding 80, and maybe for the Saints the temperature has gone up since then. That is the end of the 1st quarter with the score. The Dolphins 14, the Saints 3. The Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Miami with a huge edge, nearly 100 yards more than New Orleans so far. Rushing-wise, they've gained 105 yards on the ground to only 9 for the Saints. And now Pat White, the rookie backup quarterback, taken on the 2nd round from West Virginia, has come into the game. They have not run a Wildcat with White at quarterback this year. So this is a conventional offensive play. 1st down on the 38. Start of the 2nd quarter. And White on an option carries it and brought down. So good hustle that time by Jonathan Vilma, the middle linebacker, and a loss of 4.
And a really nice job. Watch the guys up front control the line of scrimmage, which allows what? the linebackers to flow free to the football unblocked, and that's exactly what happened. Jonathan Vilma, number 51, shoots the gap because he did not have to take on a blocker at all and makes the play.
So there was your college option play.
It went right to it. It was not Wildcat, conventional offense, but with a wrinkle. An option quarterback from college running it on the pro level.
So Chad Henne goes back into the game on 2nd and 13. Henne looking one way, and his pass is caught by Camarillo inside the 20-yard line. Greg Camarillo with his first catch of the game, tackled by Tracy Porter at a gain of 23 yards.
Take a look, they get run Devon Bess inside in the slot, 15, and they run him short, which leaves Camarillo, number 83, to run a one-on-one route against Tracy Porter, the corner, and Camarillo wins the battle.
And what did Chad Henne tell us when he was at Ohio State? Tracy Porter, playing for Indiana, was a target of his often in college.
He'd like for it to be the same target today, off to a good start.
Now they go back to the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown, and he gives to Ricky Williams going wide, not going to get anything, and the Saints read it perfectly. And Jonathan Vilma leads a board of 3 defenders and a loss of 3 for the Dolphins.
Really nice job by Jonathan Vilma on back-to-back plays. That's him right here. He's going to read his keys, and again, look who's unblocked. Jonathan Vilma. And he just slides down and then shoots the gap, and a good job by Darren Sharper, number 42, setting the edge, and Troy Evans, number 54, not allowing for the cutback by the runner.
Jonathan Vilma fined $10,000 for his helmet-on-helmet collision with Eli Manning last week. Again, Ronnie Brown, this will be the 8th Wildcat play, and no handoff to Williams, and Ronnie Brown slowed up. Darren Sharper comes in to make the tackle, but Will Smith started it all. So a bunch of the Saints, including Roman Harper, we can name about 7, and no gain on that play.
They shut the back door on this play. The Dolphins have done well with the sweep so far, but watch how they shut the back door here. Meaning, they read their keys, and they don't let the fake take them away.
3rd down and 14. Pressure and the pass thrown to Devon Bess on the wide receiver screen, and Shanley will bring him down at the 14-yard line after a pickup of 7. So 4th down coming up, and Dan Carpenter will try to give the Dolphins 3 more.
And I know that the Saints now are in a position where they may give up 3 more points if Carpenter knocks this through the post, but that possession was a get your feet under you possession on defense for the New Orleans Saints.
And on this hot late afternoon here in South Florida, job well done by the Saints defense. This will be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Carpenter. And the kick is good, and the Dolphins extend their lead to 17-3 over the Saints. Carpenter 8 of 9 from field goal range this year.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. To us, nothing's more important than being there. By Toyota, moving forward. And by FedEx, we understand your business could use a Dick Butkus pep talk.
Early here in this second quarter, Bill Parcells, the Executive Vice President, Football Operations, and seeing his Miami Dolphin team, he named Tony Sparano as a head coach last year, and the Dolphins won the AFC East, and watching his team move out to the lead, and great confidence in Sparano, who was the offensive line coach in Dallas. And here's the kickoff by Carpenter. Back deep is Roby, and Roby runs it out from a yard out. Great kick by Carpenter, because it was right on the edge in the end zone, and Jason Allen making the tackle after an 18-yard return.
So how they've been getting to Drew Brees and disrupting the New Orleans offense. Look at the movement by the Dolphins on defense, trying to confuse blocking schemes. And then they're winning one-on-one battles against their offensive line and putting pressure on Drew Brees. And last but not least, they are quicker to the point of attack right now than New Orleans has been all game long.
And Charles, the Saints haven't had the benefit of any kind of good field position. They're starting 1st down here from their 17. Brees in rhythm, but thrown where Reggie Bush can't make the catch, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
So many ways that you have to decide to attack Drew Brees in this New Orleans offense. A lot of people say you got to put a lot of pressure on it. Well, the Dolphins have done that, but they also are going to change it up. On the last play, they only rushed 4, dropped 7 into the passing lanes.
And they have 4 down linemen right here, and let's see if the Saints are guilty of a false start or the quick count got Miami over.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 99 on the defense, causing a reaction of the offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jason Taylor a little amused after that call.
You called that on me? Are you kidding me? Don't you know who I am?
Well, he is the leading active player in the NFL with 124 sacks. So it's 2nd down and 5, and this pass knocked away. And once again, it was Drew Wilson challenging Reggie Bush. And this is an aggressive secondary we've seen from the Dolphins.
And Drew Wilson had to come ready to play today. Look at him out there isolated against Reggie Bush. That's a matchup the Saints figured to win because Drew Wilson is a great run support guy. The book is he's a little questionable in pass coverage. Not so far in the last 2 plays, he's knocked him away.
Smart to keep that right hand off of Bush. You can get called for those. So it's 3rd and 5. Here comes the pressure. The ball is tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Reggie Torbor. And it was Jabril Wilson who got in to get the deflection and another turnover, giving the Dolphins ball in deep in Saint territory.
Hey, earlier in the down and distance, the Dolphins rushed 4 and dropped 7. This time on 3rd down, they bring the heat, bring the extra people, and the safety, Jabril Wilson, goes from covering Reggie Bush to rushing Drew Brees and tips the ball up for Reggie Torbor to pick off.
I think you said it well a couple of moments ago. The Dolphins are beating the Saints to the punch. And Drew Brees
going Wildcat again with Chad Henne on the field.
Henne to the right, and with polite blocking, Ronnie Brown covers, and Ronnie Brown gets to the 11-yard line. A gain of 8 yards. Drew Brees, when he throws 2 interceptions, the Saints record is 1-13. And already in the first half, Brees has thrown 2 interceptions, one to Tyrone Culver and the other one on a deflection to Reggie Torbor.
And he came into the game having only thrown 2 all year.
Well, this is a different start to the Saints. But they're used to 2nd down and 2, and here's Ronnie Brown, 2nd effort. And it's Jonathan Vilma who hit him first, and the Saints may have prevented the 1st down on that run.
And despite the 2 interceptions, you know the Saints have plenty of confidence in Drew Brees and their offense. Thus the test now for their defense. Make Miami attempt another field goal in this situation. Don't let the game get away from you early. If they can do that again, they'll feel good coming off the field.
And as Tony Sperano told us, we've got to finish drives because threes won't get it done against this team.
Exactly.
3rd down and 1, and here's Lusaka Polite, and he'll have the 1st down to the 9-yard line. 1st and goal for the Dolphins.
How about Lusaka Polite, known as a blocker, but today 3 for 3 carrying the football in short yardage situations and picking up 1st downs. Look how he's stymied originally, and look at his spin, keeps his legs driving and falls forward for the 1st down.
To the delight of Tony Sperano, so it's 1st and goal at the 8, and Pat White has come in again at quarterback. And White hands off to Ronnie Brown. Brown gets loose and he'll score. You know, Charles, I don't know if the Miami Dolphins and their fans dreamed of what this scenario would be in the first half, but we're about halfway through the second quarter, and they already have a 23-3 lead.
They knew the formula, but they didn't know if the formula was a secret or not. And it's obviously not now, because everyone's seeing it. Power running and getting out ahead of the Saints. Keys to trying to win a game.
Dan Carpenter with the extra point, making it 24-3. And that is the 7th touchdown for Ronnie Brown, as the Miami Dolphins rolling over the Saints midway through the second quarter. Here's a team, the Saints, coming in leading the league in turnover ratio with a +9, have turned it over twice, and the Dolphins have scored 2 touchdowns as a result. Carpenter kicking off again. Roby will run it out. And knocked out of bounds. The only time the Saints have been across midfield thus far was on Roby's kick return, as Ronnie Brown refreshes on the bench. Ricky Williams has scored 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Brown 1.
Dick, when we talked with Tony Sperano before this ball game, he said something very telling. He said, hey, we want to take the Saints where they have not been before this season. We want to take them into the 4th quarter with the game in doubt. They're about 2 quarters early in getting them to that point.
First down on the 25. Hand off to Pierre Thomas. Good run by Thomas. He's always been a hard runner, and he may have a first down. Needed to get to the 35. And let's check in with Kurt Menefee in a game break.
Remember that Atlanta score on the opening drive? Well, they've turned the ball over 3 consecutive possessions. The last one, the Matt Ryan fumble, set up this play. Tony Romo to Miles Austin, 59 yards for the score, and the Cowboys have taken the lead 10-7. That one in the second quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jamie.
Turnovers.
Turnovers the key area. We're seeing it here in our game. Atlanta squandering opportunities at Dallas, and the Cowboys capitalizing.
Second down and 1, and the handoff to Thomas. And Thomas fighting his way, clawing his way up to the 40-yard line, where John Smith eventually stops him after a 6-yard pickup. So we see the Saints in the backfield, the fake to Reggie Bush, and Thomas carrying. He comes in as the leading rusher for New Orleans.
And I think at this stage of the game, the Saints trying to get themselves settled, the Dolphins moving a lot along the defensive front, trying to confuse blocking schemes. You're averaging 160 yards a game running the football, New Orleans. You might want to run it a bit now to try and settle your team down.
First down, play action for Brees. He had to hesitate, but he completes it to Marcus Colston. And Colston getting into Dolphin territory to the 36-yard line, a 23-yard pass and run.
And another great way to settle things down is throw it to your best guy, running through the middle of the field. A great target. Great job by Brees showing the touch, dropping it over the big guys and in front of the secondary. And Marcus Colston, all 6'4", 225 of him, picks up a first down.
Goes to the sideline, had 166 yards and a touchdown against the Giants. First down at the 35, and Pierre Thomas, maybe a yard. We're looking at 2 good running teams and 2 good rush defense. We know Miami's #1 in the league in rushing, but Miami has the 3rd best rushing defense as well.
And a lot of, when you want to measure toughness on a team, you often look at those stats. How do they run the ball, and how are they against the run? And both of these teams have shown their toughness in the early going of this season.
Second down and 10. Brees loses the ball. Fumble. And it was Jason Taylor who forced it, and the Saints recover. As the Saints very nearly turned it over for the 3rd time in this first half.
All right, watch the big guy, Jason Taylor. It's just a one-on-one battle with Jermon Bushrod, number 74, the offensive tackle. And Taylor, known as a speed rusher, used a little bit of bull rush there to get past him and knock the ball free. And it looks like John Stinchcomb, the other offensive tackle, wins the battle for the football on a 50-50 play.
And Stinchcomb is shaken up on the field. We'll take a timeout. 24-3, a shocker so far in South Florida.
Today's game is sponsored by Sprint. This is the NFL Now, only from Sprint, the Now Network, official wireless service sponsor of the NFL.
Third down conversions, and here's the pass out to Devery Henderson. And the first catch of the game for Henderson. Nate Jones was right there, and a gain of 8 yards, so fourth down coming up. And the field goal team coming on. Now, John Carney, who kicked the field goal in the first quarter, now has 2,000 career points. And that is fourth all-time in the National Football League. But if he makes good here, he'll pass George Blanda and move into third. This is a long one, 50 yards for Carney, the 45-year-old. And the kick is no good as he hooked it. So not only does he miss the 50-yard kick, but the Dolphins will get the ball in better than decent field position as that kick goes left, and the score remains the Dolphins 24, the Saints 3. Want to take a look at a great coach, Don Shula, the all-time leader in victories. 1997 Hall of Fame inductee. His 72 team went 17-0. And there's Dick Anderson, who was part of that group that won the Super Bowl. They won back-to-back Super Bowls. First and 10 for the Dolphins on the 40 after the missed field goal, and Ricky Williams drives ahead for about 4 yards. This weekend, the Dolphins are having their alumni celebration for both the 82 and 84 AFC Championship teams.
A lot of great players, a lot of great teams coached by Don Shula. And you mentioned the 72 team. Remember in 85 when they were trying to protect being the only undefeated team? They beat the Bears in Miami in a big Monday night game. The only loss the Bears had all year is they went on and won a Super Bowl.
They have big parties when
they pop the cork when the last undefeated team loses.
Second down and 6, handoff to Ricky Williams. And Williams is put down by Jonathan Vilma. And Vilma playing an outstanding game for a team that's losing 24-3. He has been all over the field. A loss of 1 yard.
Interesting talking to Jonathan Vilma before the game. That's him right here. Watch him flow to the football again. And his defensive front's doing a nice job of keeping him clean, meaning no one's blocking him, and he's able to flow and make the play. But I wonder what's going through his head and his teammates' heads right now, because their mantra on defense is, we dictate tempo. We do the attacking and set the agenda. Thus far today, the Dolphins have flipped the script on them.
No question about it, Charles, as the Saints call a timeout there first. And it's easy to talk that way when you're leading in every game and you're averaging 38 points on offense and your margin of victory is double digits. But this team, the Saints, are 24-3 in arrears with 4:29 to go in the half.
It's the kind of day when you find out a lot about your ball club and the character of your team when you're not used to playing from behind.
3rd and 7, and Miami has been terrific on 3rd down. Empty backfield, and a good play made by Tracy Porter, the cornerback on Ted Ginn Jr., forcing the Dolphins to punt. And an injured player. Now, John Stinchcomb, the right tackle, went out earlier, and it just looks like it might be Cedric Ellis.
It is.
And it is.
Big Cedric, the first-round draft pick last year for the Saints, has been playing better and better with each succeeding week in this season.
It's been a long first half for Sean Payton, who now wants to check on his injured tackle.
He's right behind Roman Harper, number 41. See him getting flipped over the pile. It looks like Justin Smiley, number 65, as he got caught in the crowd. Right in the middle of that pile. There goes Cedric Ellis over the top of Smiley, clutching his leg.
So that's the second lineman injured for the Saints. The right tackle and now the defensive tackle. Right tackle on offense. Well, the battle of two AL powerhouses coming down to the wire. Game 6 after the Angels' exciting comeback made it 3-2. Game 6 tonight from Yankee Stadium in New York begins on Fox exclusively at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, following the OT in high definition only on Fox. And it'll be Andy Pettitte, who is 15-9 in his postseason career, against Joe Saunders, who in 2 starts has no decision. And when Andy Pettitte gets that extra day's rest, which he will after last night's game was rained out, he is even stronger.
37 career starts in the postseason. I mean, it was 15-9. That's the guy you want to trot out to the mound in that game. Experience tilts towards the Yankees in terms of that pitching matchup.
All right, right now let's send it out to Kurt Menefee.
Well, Carson Palmer's the guy you want in your fantasy team today. He's got 4 touchdown passes, and they're still in the first half. This one to the ex-Jet, Lavernius Coles, makes it 28-0. They now lead 31-0 over the Bears, and there's still time left before halftime. Dick, Charles, and Jamie.
All right, thank you, Kurt. And Cedric Ellis being helped off the field here. And not a good picture for the Saints.
No, not something you want to see. Let's hope it's not as serious as it looks as he goes off. And I think Cedric Benson's celebrating in Cincinnati right now, that 31-0 advantage on the Bears.
He is. Reggie Bush, very dangerous back at the 10-yard line as Brandon Fields punting on 4th down. And here's Bush at the 6-yard line and gets tripped up. And a big play by Jason Allen. That's his 2nd special teams tackle today. And what a difference. Reggie Bush could not get unleashed. And the Saints will have to start again with poor field position, this time inside their 10.
Jason Allen, a former first-round pick for the Dolphins, trying to find his niche as a defensive back. Is he a corner? Is he a safety? One thing he definitely is, an excellent gunner on the punt coverage team. Great straight line speed, and he can make the tackles in open field. And Tony Sparano celebrates another big play by his Dolphins.
And a 51-yard punt. Good news for the Saints as far as John Stinchcomb. He's back in at right tackle. New Orleans with a 1st down on their 9. And falling down is Reggie Bush. Could not get untracked. And don't forget, this is a team that plays on the turf at the Superdome at home, so a loss of 2 on 1st down.
Take a look at the starting field position. New Orleans, their own 30. Miami in the plus percentage against New Orleans on the plus 46. No wonder they're up 24-3.
You talked about hidden yardage. That's a prime example of it. Doesn't look at the box scores at the end, and here's the pass to Marcus Colston, who is stopped at the 10-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Saints. And there is Cedric Ellis being taken into the locker room.
Hope the big fella's going to be okay, but when you play the New Orleans Saints, one of the things you have to do as a defense is tackle well in the open field. The Saints offense predicated on big yards after the catch. On that play, they put Colston down at the point of where he caught the football.
3rd and 9. And a 4-man rush to Brees, and he's going to go down. Jeremiah Bell, the strong safety. And the 2nd sack on Drew Brees, this time at about the 2. Paul Pasqualoni is dialing up the right defenses against Drew Brees so far today.
And I love what Miami does. They're showing their regular pressure, and then Jeremiah Bell defeats the block. Was that Reggie Bush there? Runs right through it to get to Drew Brees. The 2 safeties for Miami, big days in the 1st half.
Loss of 7, and Morstead doesn't have a lot of room back there to punt. Devon Bess is standing about at the 40-yard line of New Orleans. And a great kick by Morstead. And it's not Bess, but Ted Ginn Jr., and he is down at the 41. That was a great punt by Morstead of 53 yards, and great coverage downfield by the Saints. But Miami gets the ball, and I tell you what, the turnovers against the Saints and the poor field position really turning inside out what this team is used to.
Yeah, they are so used to being out in front and sprinting to the early lead and doing what they want to do. Tony Sparano says the great thing about Sean Payton is that he's fearless as a play caller. He loves to call the game in the left lane. Well, today he's not able to call the game in the left lane because they have to be in the slow lane because they're down 24-3.
And left lane, of course, means driving fast. And there's movement in the line, and a penalty flag is down. And it's going to be against the Saints. That's the preliminary signal against the defense.
Offside. Number 92 defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Remy Adele, 5 yards marked off. So let's step back and see what we've seen. 2 turnovers, 72 total yards by the Saints. Ricky Williams with 2 touchdowns. And he has scored them on the Wildcat. 14 points off of turnovers and 3 sacks against Brees. Totally unexpected turn of events. First down and 5. Ronnie Brown. Troy Evans making the tackle. And no gain on the play as we wind down to our 2-minute warning here in Miami with the Dolphins up 24-3.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa.
Paul Pasqualoni, the big edge on Sean Payton's play calling thus far. How significant, Charles, do you think this drive is?
I think this drive is huge because Ronnie Brown told us that the Dolphins want to throw the first punch in all situations. Well, this could be the knockout punch here.
Second down and 5 after the 2-minute warning, and the pass is caught by Anthony Fasano, the tight end, and a first down at the 40-yard line of the Saints, picking up 14.
How about this young quarterback, Dick? The poise of Chad Henne. When we talk with Dan Henning, when you talk with Tony Sparano, they keep coming back to poise and maturity, and they got exactly what they expected when they drafted him out of Michigan. That poise and maturity, and a big arm, and a real sense of belief in himself.
First down at the 40. Fake to Ricky Williams, and down goes Henne as Anthony Hargrove, who replaced Cedric Ellis at defensive tackle, gets Henne for a 7-yard loss, and that is the first sack of the game for the Saints.
That's a real big-time play, too, by Anthony Hargrove.
Timeout called by the Saints, and that is their second. And, of course, there have been a lot of action early and a lot of games coming up late, as you know, and so Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have all of the highlights and discussion of these games on the Visa Halftime Report, along with the Fox Sports ticker. So stay with us. They'll bring you up to date. So Henne, the quarterback, and inexperienced, but his play belies his age. Dan Henning with a lot of confidence in him, and his opposite number, Greg Williams. This is a chess match between those two outstanding coordinators today.
And Henne is the starting quarterback, preparing more than ever from when he was the backup.
Second down and 17, and the quick pass to Devon Bess, but he's going nowhere, loses the ball. And no indication. Yes, the Saints recover. And it was Darren Sharper who makes the recovery.
I did not think that I had heard a whistle, and the officials confirmed it by not blowing the whistle. They never blew this play dead. And the Dolphins are going to probably challenge because it looks like his knee was down before the ball came out.
Jabari Greer hit him. Watch.
See, the ball is
left knee
right there. The knee is down. He still has possession of the ball there.
The left knee was down, and then the ball came loose. And did you notice there was a hesitation of all the players after that?
Hesitation of the players, and they also don't want to blow the play dead too early as an official.
The previous play.
This is a booth review inside 2 minutes of each half.
See, if you blow the play dead early, it doesn't allow for the review. You've called the play dead. They let the play extend. Now the review can confirm it or turn it over. See, the key is, was the ball working its way free? Which it seemed like it was moving, but his knee was down while it still appeared that he had possession of the football. But the ball seems to be working its way free right there. But the knee's down, and he still has the ball in his hand. So he's down there before the ball is totally gone.
Now it is a booth review, but John Parry, the referee, will make the determination as he looks at the replays.
See, it's working its way free. But look at that. But the call on the field, it's going to be difficult to overturn that, Dick.
Well, the question is, do they feel the ball was coming out but right before the knee hit the ground? And remember, indisputable visual evidence to turn over the call on the field, which was a fumble.
Now, this is the second time we've had Devon Bess involved in a play like this. He was fortunate the first time. The replay machine was not working. The call couldn't be overturned.
And as a result of that, and it looked like the Saints would have had the, won it. They did not charge the Saints with a timeout, so that was kind of the compromise. Yeah. The OT later on, BCS standings. A look at all of the games, highlights, and discussion with our great group out in Los Angeles. And that's coming up after the game, and then that may be just the appetizer for Game 6 of the ALCS. Yankees, with a win, will go to the World Series to play the Phillies, which you'll see on Fox exclusively. So there is no reason to turn your dial the rest of the afternoon and evening.
You know, Dick, when we were talking about Chad Henne, the young quarterback, and coming out of Michigan, played in that big-time environment. And Dan Henning told me one thing I thought was interesting. He said, the kid has been through some adversity, too, and I kind of cocked an eyebrow at him. When you tell you he played at Michigan, how much adversity are we talking about? He said, hey, he went 0-4 against Ohio State and kept swinging. He said, you know something, when you lose 4 games to Ohio State at Michigan, that's a big deal. He understands disappointment. He understands getting knocked around a little bit. And so far, he's come in and been everything we've been looking for in a quarterback.
You know, Charles, playing in Michigan, you play before those big crowds at the big house, right?
100,000 plus every week. Yep. And, he's played in bad weather because you're playing in the Big Ten. He's played in good weather. Remember, he started as a true freshman then. All right, got the job the week of the opening game due to some injuries to other guys. And one thing he told me that I thought was significant, I never get mentored by an older guy there. I'm getting mentored by an older guy now.
It's been confirmed prior to the left knee being down, the ball was jarred loose. Therefore, New Orleans.
So that's the first turnover by the Dolphins, and that was a really good review and call, because at first it looked like the knee had hit the ground, and then you noticed that the ball was starting to come out, and there was no way they were going to overturn the ruling on the field fumble. So the Saints will get the ball on their 49-yard line.
And they avoided the knockout punch there, Dick. That was big. They did not let Miami go downfield and score on them right before the half. Now they have an opportunity to take it down and score themselves before the half, which means what? You feel much better.
And that'll change the complexion of that game if they can score. Saints have 1 timeout remaining. First down on the 49. Drew Brees has time and goes underneath to Lance Moore, and Moore picks up about 7.5 yards on first down.
I'm looking at the Miami defense, and I'm noticing on a lot of plays now just 2 defensive linemen with their hands on the ground, using a lot more linebackers on the field, rushing from different angles at Drew Brees.
I see one right now, one defensive lineman on 2nd down and 3. Brees' pass, and unable to hold on to it is Marcus Colston, and aggressive defense by Nate Jones on that pass.
The Dolphins defensive backs have done a really nice job playing through the hands of the Saints receivers today to knock balls free. Excellent job by Nate Jones pulling the arms away from Marcus Colston and preventing the catch.
Colston has caught 3 thus far. So let's see what the Dolphins do here. Randy Starks has been the only man to have a hand down, and he is again. Saints 0 for 7 on 3rd downs. And there's the quick pass to Reggie Bush. Can he get free? And he gets free enough for the first down inside the 40. And we have under a minute remaining, a pickup of 5 for the Saints.
Just went to a wide receiver screen with Reggie Bush as the wide receiver, where he brings it back inside and follows his blocks to pick up the first down.
Still 1 timeout left for New Orleans. And Porter was across the line.
Free play.
And going over to check with the referee.
Offside, defense number 55, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, first down.
See, I was thinking free play, but because the league does a great job of protecting the quarterback, when you have a rusher unabated to the quarterback, they blow it dead immediately. In other normal situations, you get a free play and a chance for a big play downfield.
Terrific point. So now first down and 5.
And there's Colston.
And Brees getting a rush, steps up, and the pass, holding onto it is Jeremy Shockey, and the first time they've gone to the tight end. And a first down for the Saints just beyond the 25-yard line. Jabril Wilson, who's also had a good first half, defending on the play, an 8-yard pickup. And the Saints using their last timeout.
And this could be a mood-altering drive for the Saints. But, Dick, I only think it's really altered if they end up in the end zone with 6. If they kick another field goal, it's a little bit of frustration going into the half.
How reverse are we talking in this game? We're talking about how the Saints can get back in it, and they need the touchdown and not the field goal, when the point was that that's what the Dolphins were hoping that they would get.
Very close to Bizarro world, aren't we?
First catch for Jeremy Shockey, who caught 4, including a touchdown grab against his former team, the Giants, last week. Tony McDaniel, number 78. Now there are 2-3 down linemen for Miami. On first down, Brees has time, but going underneath. And it was Devery Henderson, and the big tackle by Jeremiah Bell. Under a half a minute to go, 5-yard gain. They're out of timeouts. Second down and 5. Drew Brees drills it, and incomplete. And that was intended for Colston. And Nate Jones defending on the play. It'll stop the clock with 12 seconds left in the half and bring up third down.
The coverage by the Dolphins defensive backs has been tremendous in the first half. Take a look at them downfield, trying to go to their big guy, Marcus Colston, and Nate Jones rides his back and helps knock the ball away.
Third and 5. Brees stepping up, and his pass is caught by Colston. Touchdown Saints. As Colston gets the ball across the plane, and the Saints get their first touchdown of the game, and yes, it changes the complexion of this game. What the Dolphins could not manage against the Saints defense and what New Orleans did offensively.
That's exactly right. Mood-altering score for the Saints heading into the locker room. And what a throw by Drew Brees. Back shoulder to Marcus Colston away from the defender.
And that is the 5th touchdown catch of the year by Colston, and number 14 throwing by Brees. And John Carney on for the extra point with 5 seconds left in the first half.
Look at Colston trying to get into the end zone where his knees down before he's able to get the ball to the goal line.
They're reviewing this.
Remember, it's a booth review. Last 2 minutes of the half. There's Colston with the catch. Going down. Knees are down right there.
Did not have control either.
And did he take it and get it into the end zone? See, I think it would be ruled a catch, Dick, and a second movement. All right, that's what we talked about. Mike Pereira, the director of officiating. Catch, establish the catch, feet her down, making a second move as the ball is coming out.
But does he have control though going over?
But I think it would still be New Orleans' ball because he ends up possessing it after that, because I think it would be a second move. The catch would be legal, and then it would be a fumble. And remember, who has to recover? He would have to recover the fumble for it to be the touchdown.
We had that play with Dante Rosario of Carolina earlier in the season where they ruled a similar play like this a touchdown.
And they said a second movement, so that would mean if it was a fumble, he was eligible to recover it, and he would. See, I think it's a catch, second move. Even if they call it a fumble, he's got the football.
Now, the only thing is, if they don't rule it a touchdown, the Saints have only 5 seconds left.
And they have to be prepared to decide what they're going to do. Kick a field goal or try and go for a touchdown with 5 seconds to go. And that's what I'm sure Sean Payton and Drew Brees are discussing right now.
After reviewing the play, when the receiver's right knee is down, the ball is at the half-yard line. Therefore, it will be first and goal at the half-yard line.
But now there are only 5
The
seconds.
clock will start on the ready for play.
And Sean Payton has made his decision. He wants points on the board.
So a field goal attempt. So this winds up to be beneficial to the Dolphins, and John Carney will try a 21-yard field goal. And now the Dolphins are going to call their third and final timeout.
Their second team timeout. 30-second timeout.
Think Drew Brees is trying to talk Sean Payton into going for it?
He won.
And I think he won his debate. One more play, coach. One more play.
Now, you wonder whether that would have happened if the Dolphins had not called a timeout. I don't think it would have.
There would not have been enough time for Drew Brees to lobby Sean Payton. So guess what? Sean Payton back in the left lane calling plays again, Dick. We're exceeding the speed limit on this one.
So a decision made by the Dolphins to call a timeout. And now the Saints are going to try to get the touchdown with 5 seconds to go. The ball will be at the 1-yard line.
And Dick, I don't think that they run the football here. I think that they put the ball in the hands of Drew Brees to throw the football to try and pick up this half-yard.
Keep in mind that Zach Street, a right tackle, is eligible. Number 64 is a tight end. Quarterback sneak, touchdown Saints. Brees got over. And this is about as joyous as we've seen the Saints all day.
And aren't the Saints glad I'm not calling plays? Because I said don't run it here. And Drew Brees vaults over the top and gets the touchdown. And it's a dangerous play only in terms of that ball could be knocked free before he gets to the goal line. That's all.
I would have agreed with you, because the way the Dolphins have been so physical up the middle, it was not the percentage play. But Brees getting the touchdown, and that is his first touchdown rushing all year. So it's now 24-9, and Carney with 2 seconds on the clock. And it's now the Dolphins 24 and the Saints 10, and so all of a sudden a 2-score game. You pointed out it could have been a knockout punch for the Dolphins. It's turned around.
And what a great way for New Orleans to go into the locker room feeling much better about themselves and what's going on in the first half. They can kind of say, okay, let's wipe the slate clean and let's come back out in the second half and beat New Orleans again. You know, that's why that can kind of be the message for them at the half. But did Drew Brees major, what was it, debate in college? Because it worked really well there, debating his coach and winning that battle. And as you pointed out, if Miami doesn't challenge or call the timeout, probably not enough time.
It may have been a debate, but I don't think I saw Sean Payton's lips move.
I don't think Drew Brees gave him an opportunity. And how happy is he? I talked my coach into going for it. It paid off for us. We will feel better as a team going into the locker room.
8 plays, 51 yards. Took 1 minute and 33 seconds. And, you know, Drew Brees, not normally an emotional quarterback, but he certainly was there as he talked Payton out of the field goal attempt. They got the touchdown. And against the Saints, with their ability to put up points, this is a tenuous 24-10 lead for Miami.
What a way to finish the first half. You pointed it out. Miami unable to get anything on their last drive. New Orleans gets a touchdown.
And the ball kicked on the ground and taken by Reggie Torbor, and that will end the first half. So at one point, the Dolphins led 24-3, but the Saints get a score later. That is the end of the first half. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages.